Like if you found the video valuable. It wasn't the smell that first tipped her off. It was the silence. Grace Holloway, 32, had lived on the second floor of Ashmere Apartments for 5 years. She knew every creaky step, every moody neighbor, every late-night argument muffled through the vents. But the man in 3B, Mr. Denton, hadn't made a sound in 10 days. No TV, no footsteps, no mail collected, and his cat, Missy, kept meowing behind the door. That's when Grace called the landlord. Day 1. The landlord arrived with a master key. Grace stood behind him, arms folded, nerves tight. He knocked. Mr. Denton? No answer. The door creaked open. Inside was perfectly clean. Dishes washed, mail sorted, plants watered, but no Mr. Denton. And Missy was pacing in circles, agitated. On the table, a half-finished crossword. And next to it, a small brass key. Day 2. The police brush off. Grace reported the disappearance. The officer who came by glanced around the tidy apartment, saw no signs of a struggle, and shrugged. He's probably out of town. Without his wallet? His shoes are still here. Maybe a mental health break. He handed her a card. If he doesn't turn up in 72 hours, file a missing persons. Day 3. The key. Grace couldn't stop thinking about the key. It was tiny, maybe for a drawer or a jewelry box. Ornate, old-fashioned. Denton was a retired locksmith. She figured it must mean something. She searched the apartment while the landlord looked the other way. Top drawers, cupboards, closet safes, nothing. Until she opened the kitchen floorboard hatch. Inside, a small metal box. The key fit perfectly. Inside the box, a folded photo, a set of coordinates, and a USB drive. Day 4. The photo. The photo showed a child, young, maybe 9 years old, with a gap-toothed smile. Behind him stood a young Mr. Denton, maybe in his 20s. And in the background, a familiar house. Grace recognized it instantly. It was the old boarding house on Mercer Lane, a place that had been condemned 15 years ago after reports of abuse and unexplained disappearances. She checked the coordinates. They pointed to the same house. Day 5. The boarding house. Grace, fueled by equal parts concern and adrenaline, drove out to the house. It was falling apart. Boarded windows, roof caved in, but still standing. Inside was dust, rot, and a single locked trapdoor under the stairs. She tried calling the police again. They told her not to trespass, to go home, so she didn't mention the USB. Day 6. The USB drive. Grace used an old laptop to open the drive. It contained only 3 files. File 1. Journal entry, audio recording. This is James Denton. If you're hearing this, I'm probably gone. I found something in the old boarding house I wasn't meant to. There's a room below, and someone is still down there. File 2. Photo archive folder, old scanned documents, police records, school logs, photos of children from the 1980s and 90s, many marked missing. Grace scrolled. At the bottom, one name circled in red. Thomas Rule, 1989. Missing from Mercer Lane. File 3. A video. Grainy footage. Denton's flashlight moving through the Mercer basement. Then, a door, a creak, a moan. Then, a voice. A child's voice, whispering, "Are you here to let me out now?" Day 7. The dig. Grace went back to the house. This time, she brought tools. She broke open the trapdoor. The air was foul, heavy with rot. She descended a wooden staircase, flashlight trembling. Below was a long hallway. At the end, a small door, padlocked, and carved into the door were initials. TR. She forced it open. Inside, nothing, only a mattress, chains, scratched walls, and in the corner, a shoebox, labeled, "For the one who finds this." Inside the box, a note. "My name is Thomas Rule. I was taken when I was 9. Mr. Denton found me. He promised to bring the others to justice." Newspaper clippings of other missing children. A list of names, locations, and initials. And a recent photo of Denton, standing beside a man in handcuffs. Caption: Former boarding house manager arrested on abuse charges. The final message. Grace turned the note over. "If you're reading this, James Denton kept his promise. But I don't think the others ever left. I hear them at night, whispering through the walls." TR. Epilogue. 1 week later. James Denton's body was discovered at the edge of Lake Wilburn. Official cause of death, heart failure. In his coat pocket was a note. Case closed. But Grace wasn't so sure. Sometimes, when she walks past apartment 3B, she still hears Missy meowing, even though the cat was adopted out. Sometimes she swears she hears typing, like someone is finishing a crossword puzzle. And every now and then, she finds one of those tiny brass keys in her mailbox. Always unlabeled, always cold,